Auditions for the Lone Star Youth Orchestra are coming up soon, and we've got the details for you. Dr. Kevin Pierce is the music director and conductor of the orchestra, and he's joined by orchestra member Margot Radikitchinen. Thanks so much for joining me via Zoom, you guys. It's great to see you.
Great to be here.
Wonderful. So, Dr. Pierce, I'm going to start with a question for you. There may be a few viewers in town who are not familiar with the Lone Star Youth Orchestra. Can you tell us about the orchestra?
Well, we are a youth orchestra that we draw from all over the DFW area. We have students who are ages coming from about, I'd say, 6th or 7th grade all the way until they graduate high school, so to 12th grade. We are a unique group in that we do not charge tuition of our members. There's only some small fees to join, and so we really try to make the cost affordable. And we have students who play all sorts of instruments. So basically, all of the string instruments, the orchestral string instruments, as well as your standard concert band instruments. So all of your we have woodwind and also brass instruments and percussion as well. So sometimes people think, oh, orchestra, that's string only, especially in public schools. But we have wind and percussion as well.
Well, I've heard the orchestra in performance over the years, and I'm always so impressed by the music that you select and the enthusiasm of the kids as they're performing. So that brings up the auditions, of course, because lots of people want to be involved in this. I think the auditions will be a little bit different this year. Are you doing anything a little differently because of the demands of COVID?
Well, yes, we are. We kind of scaled back the days, and we're, as of now, obviously in this time and this age, that the plans are always subject to change. As of now, we are doing we're splitting up our audition times. Our auditions are going to be on the 15th of August as well as the 22nd of August. And we are splitting it up by times, by instruments. So strings will be in one block of time, woodwinds will be in one block of time, brass and percussion will be in their own blocks of time as well. Students, if possible, are obviously going to wear masks. And as of now, that's a study that's being done, that some things have just been released as far as making the safest environment possible for the students to audition, and also for us to rehearse in once we have the orchestra selected.
That's great, and I know that that'll give everybody a level of comfort so that they can come out and do their best job. So I want to ask Margot a question now. You know about the orchestra firsthand. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved and what you enjoy most about being a part of it.
Well, I think I've been in it for 5 years, since I was in 6th grade. And what I really enjoy is that it's not it's not overly competitive. There's a lot of teamwork, and so yeah.
That's really neat. What instrument do you play, Margot?
Violin.
How long have you been playing violin?
12 years.
Wow, that's a lot of experience there for somebody so young. How does being a part of the orchestra help you with your love of music, with your love of your instrument? How does it help you be a better performer?
Well, the music is very challenging, so it makes me work harder on skills that I usually wouldn't work on, like at home.
Yeah, that's an impressive thing to say. So if you can think of one thing about being a part of the orchestra that you would like to share with viewers who maybe are thinking, well, I like to play my violin or my cello, or I like to play my instrument, what would you say to them to encourage them to audition for the auditions that are coming up?
Well, it's advanced, but at the same time, it's very laid back, like the rehearsals and all that. So you don't really need to be afraid of auditioning for it.
That's actually really good advice because most people are very nervous when it comes time to audition for anything. So thank you for sharing that it's laid back and people can just come and play. Next couple of questions are for you, Dr. Pierce. You mentioned that you've got a range of instruments. Are there any requirements that people need to know about before they call in to register for a spot?
Yes, they definitely need to check out our on our website and download the audition requirements. As far as what students have to play, there are some required scales that students need to play based on which instrument they play. There are also some excerpts out of standard orchestral music that students should be familiar with and definitely need to practice those because those are a pretty standard requirement that are done really on all auditions. And then as far as a solo piece that I like to hear, students should play something that they are working on with their private teacher and something that they feel most comfortable with. One thing about auditions that I also want to add that students might not be familiar with the way your standard orchestra auditions happen in like basically all of your standard orchestra auditions. The only people who are in the room when they actually play their audition is me and the student. And sometimes these auditions are done when they're in public schools, at least in Texas, where they're in a gigantic room with sometimes like as many as 30 other students, and basically everyone hears everyone else's audition. We don't do that, and no professional orchestras do that, and no colleges, at least that I've heard of, do that. So that's I think hopefully what Margot is talking about as far as it being a little bit more relaxed atmosphere where kids get to breathe a little bit. And we work hard. It's some challenging music that we play. We play a lot of stuff that pro groups play, but it is something where we want our kids to feel a little bit of relaxation. We also want them to feel like they are trying to achieve a goal that's an achievable goal, and that it's not just something that is totally above just totally out of their reach.
That's a really nice combination there to have, challenging and interesting music for the students to play, but in a situation where they can not feel the pressure of having to be impressive for the adult in the room and all the other kids in the room, because that's different kinds of pressure, you know what I mean? So final question for you is this: how does the orchestra fit into the overall educational outreach that you guys are doing?
I think we fill a really important role. We have some students, like Margot, who is an example of that, who are homeschooled. Some students who come to us from maybe a school district where orchestra is not offered. We have some districts around us where there's a band, but there's not an orchestra. And we give those kids a chance to play music that they wouldn't get a chance to play either in school groups or in their private lessons with their one-on-one teacher. So that's what's really important to us. And then also, what's the most important thing for me is that students get a chance to play music by composers whose music is played by those pro groups. Because when we have a chance to experience that firsthand, it's, a great teacher of mine once said, it's like going back in time, going into Michelangelo's studio of sculpture and telling the sculptor, hey, I really like that sculpture of yours. Maybe we could just take off a little bit of marble there. Maybe we could just save that a little bit. Maybe we could change that a little bit, because that's a unique experience that musicians among all the arts get to do, and not a whole lot of students necessarily get that experience.
Well, it sounds like an exciting experience no matter what the kids are playing, but when you couch it in those terms, they're playing music, great music from the world, and it sort of lifts it up to another level. Thank you guys both so much for giving us your time today. We really appreciate it. Folks, the auditions are Saturday, August 15th and 22nd by appointment only. Visit lascolinas.org/LSYO/auditions to register and to learn more, and hurry because those audition times are going fast.